It seems all but official that the era of Xbox is coming to a close, and the era of Microsoft gaming is beginning. From massive acquisitions of first-party games coming to rival platforms, studio closures, a frustrated fan base calling for Phil Spencer to be fired. In my latest video, I argue that Microsoft killed Xbox. So be sure to check that out. I go through all of the different details of what I feel ultimately has led to this point, and then this is going to be a live discussion of that. So we do those uploads every day, and then we come to a live discussion. Now, in that video, I walk through the history of Xbox, the acquisition of ZeniMax Bethesda. Phil seemed to be going for the old playbook, but then the Activision deal sort of changed everything, and it led to where we are today. And I get into the details as well as why I think they're losing talent and going to ultimately lose studios even more. So we start every day with an upload at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and then we come here. And if you watch that video, make sure to leave a comment. You might even end up featured in the live content. So when you watch those premieres, it helps me, and then you might get to be into the live show. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you watch that video, you now know what I think, and now it's time to hear what you think. So good morning and good afternoon and good evening to the live audience. Thank you guys so much for already getting 100 likes, and there's over 300 people here. What a strong start to the day. We appreciate your support so much of this new format, and we admittedly we're always going live later on Fridays. I've made some adjustments so you can get that consistency. You can get that upload every Friday morning, just like the rest of the mornings, and then get in here to the live show. And remember, I am out of town next week. Family vacation. I did that sort of right before the monsoon is about to hit. There should be a bunch of stuff going on once I get back. Streams will resume on the 20th, right before Hellblade launches. So that should be excellent as well. And I know there was a gifted member during the premiere. Han shot first, and so did you. Thank you so much for doing that, Stone Spire. And then a 5-bomb happened in this stream from Mike on the mic, and Kraos with the 50 bomb. Unbelievable. Kicking off the Friday with the biggest one that you can do. And Risic comes in as well with a single. So that takes us to 57 members already on the day. Absolutely unreal. You guys are going to hit the stretch goal. I'm going to have to fight Moog. I can already feel it. We'll get ready this afternoon with the VIP. We'll also do the dancing VR stream. I'll get all that ready. I'll get all that set up tonight for you guys. I only think you need like 85 members today, and holy cow, we're already at 57, and I owe you 10. Thank you so much, Kraos. What's funny about that premiere, what is funny about that video, I recorded that yesterday afternoon, and then later in the evening, we're now hearing people internally at Xbox basically saying, they're like, we're Microsoft Gaming now. Like, they're quite literally saying the thing that I said in the video. Like, I wrote that script around 3 or 4 in the afternoon Eastern, recorded it, sent it to Creature. I get home from like therapy. We do like therapy. We go talk to like a counselor like once a month. It's good for your mental health to check in with people like that. And we get back, we get our kids back. I'm checking my phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's literally what people at Xbox are saying. They're saying we're no longer Xbox. We're Microsoft Gaming. And that Sarah Bond interview, good golly, I've never seen her look more uncomfortable, more unsure of herself. She is a straight shooter, right? Well, not a straight shooter, but like she's usually very confident. She's very corporate. She uses corporate doublespeak. But 3 members coming in, 1 from Lone Wolf and 2 from Stone Spire, taking us to 60 members on the day. Thank you so much. And Kraos said, I want Lono to fight Moog. Thank you so much. That was the most... Oh, yeah, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. That's right. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. There's no shame in it. I've been seeing somebody, like a professional therapist, for 6 years now. 6 years. No one's above getting help, man. Joker Quinn with a gifted member takes us to 61. So it was literally the most non-like Sarah Bond I've ever seen her. Like, why'd you close 4 studios? Why'd you close Tango? And like, she just looked defeated and like tired and sad and like did not have a good answer. It was so not like her. I'm telling you, man, Microsoft kicked the door into the room and said, you're doing what we say. I know you said, Lono, Sarah was sharp, but she looked lost and not prepared. It was like Phil called in sick and she was covering for him. It literally felt that way. It felt like, why is she doing this? She didn't feel it. She literally commented on the one Tango tweet and said, here's to many more years. It's like, I literally think they were blindsided by all of this. I think they're literally trying to stay on the roller coaster. It's just been a ride for them. The podcast where they talked about the 4 games, this interview with Bloomberg, it's like, I don't think this is what they were expecting at all. I think they're just as bewildered. I think they're just as sort of like, what are we doing? Like, this is not at all the Xbox that she feels like maybe she represented. I don't know. I'm dead serious. I think Microsoft walked in the room and said, everything's changing now. Everything's changing now. It just doesn't make sense for her to say the things that she said, for Phil to say some of the things that he said. She's the president of Xbox. She's in the meetings. I understand that, but I'm telling you, unless she just doesn't do well with, I don't know how you get to that level and not do well with confrontation. She just didn't look at all prepared. She looked out of sorts. It did not seem at all like her. Now, maybe she's just better suited for the, look at the camera. Here at Xbox, we're excited to announce, all of the great games coming. Maybe that's just better suited for how she operates. And in a sit down like that, she's just not as good at it. I don't know, right? Like, some people can be really good at like on-screen talent work, but you sit them down and you start asking them questions, they might struggle to have good recall. I don't know. It did not seem like she was prepared at all. It seemed as if she didn't even know how to answer the questions. It was like, what's going on here? How do you not answer this stuff? My fiance, who isn't a gamer, thought that she looked lost and confused. Yeah, I'm not even supposed to be here today. Clerks, exactly. It's the whole thing seemed strange. It really did. And I had already made this morning's video, right? I had already made this morning's video. I was like, I cannot believe how well we called this. It was unbelievable as everything unraveled last night and more tweets were hitting and more YouTube videos were hitting. I was like, we absolutely hit a bullseye with this video. Microsoft killed Xbox. Xbox is done. There is no Xbox anymore. It's Microsoft Gaming. It is. And the frustration I have with it is, I've said this for such a long time, and it was always couched as, you're bashing Xbox and you're a pony. It's like, I've said for such a long time that Microsoft was the problem. Microsoft drives creativity away. They ruined 343. They ruined Halo Infinite with their corporate policies. And this is where creativity goes to die. That's why people are leaving and have been leaving for years. This has been Microsoft's MO for decades. I truly feel that Phil Spencer's been fighting against it. I feel like he has been trying to fight the good fight. It's why in interviews he uses the word creative so much, because that's his viewpoint. He's like, we've got to foster an environment for creatives, and we're not doing that. I truly think that he's been attempting to fight that fight. And I don't think he and Satya have been on the same page, because he basically got into his position and Satya got into his position at the exact same time. And at the time, Phil basically was like, Satya is not familiar with the gaming industry. And I think I don't think they've ever been philosophically aligned. I don't think they have. A 5-bomb from MASH comes in and takes us to 66. I think a lot of the times people accuse Phil of being fake or being a liar, and I just wonder if he's always been trying to push for gamer-centric, creative-centric platform, and Microsoft just doesn't allow for that. Yo, a 10-bomb from Haseo. 10-bomb, man, taking us to 76. You're the agents of chaos, Haseo. Look at that. And then the next goal is 100. You guys are right on the doorstep of the stretch goal of the week. Absolutely unbelievable. He knows he lost. And a 10 bomb from MASH. Oh my word, we're on a 10 bomb train right now. Unbelievable. 86 out of 100. That's it. That's the stretch goal. Yeah, look at that face. She looks down in distress. On the other hand, that's her job. And she took Phil's spot. It's got to be very, very deflating. It has to be deflating for her to step into this role, and then this is the track that she has to run on. It's not exciting. It's not exciting, like wearing green and making sure she has green eyeshadow and being like, yeah, Xbox, and then to literally watch that die. Like, that identity's just gone. It's like, what are we even doing now? Neo Reaper with a 5 bomb comes in and takes us to 91. You guys are absolutely crushing it right now. I have not even paid up what I owe. I'm going to owe you guys 20 members in just a second here. Yeah, that's a great tweet. Y'all closed Tango after exceeded in every metric you've touted as a success the last few years. Why were they closed? And she's like, hey, yo, that's crazy. Phil should have been there, but he's trying to recoup his Fallout 76 settlement, waiting on his exit interview next month. I don't agree with your opinion on Phil. 10 years for Phil, 8 years for Sarah, and Matt, who knows? They had time to right the ship. I'm telling you, a 10 bomb from Cyber Demon and a 10 bomb from MASH, taking us to 101, 111, and a 20 bomb from Kraos. We go to 101, we go to 111, and then we go to 131. Unbelievable. An absolute monster of a member train. Gee-many Christmas. I remember Lono speculating that Phil Spencer may pop up at Sony. Sounds like a good fit to me. Bye-bye, Microsoft. I think you could see Phil Spencer show up somewhere at a Japanese company. I do. I think he'd be a great fit. I think he'd be a wonderful fit because he could really, essentially, give them a great insight into Western business philosophy. And, oh, man, I think he'd be a great fit at a Japanese company. I really do. He's sharp. He's got a lot of experience. And... Listen, I was going to say this. Microsoft has made it impossible for Xbox to flourish. That's what I argued in that video. They've literally made it impossible. How are you supposed to build good games? How are you supposed to have great lineups of strong property if you're constantly having to deal with terrible corporate policies like they have to deal with? And a 5 bomb from Neo Reaper takes us to 136. Thank you so much for doing that. Let me just check some comments on that video. That video is absolutely on fire. Oh my gosh. Let me see here. Let me look at the comments. Let's see. I'm going to scroll all the way down and look at some of the first comments to reward the people that are there right at the beginning and leave. Oh my gosh, I'm still scrolling. Here we go. Is getting killed. Basically the same. Yeah, is getting killed. Yeah, Microsoft is killing Xbox. That's right, or killed them. Finally started the Hellblade 2 advo. A new tweet of the same crap that we've seen. Such sad times. Yeah, I agree. It's like, what's going on with that? PlayStation is the best place to play your games. Xbox is dead box. I mean, it feels that way. What's the point, right? This guy, Mike on a Mike says, although I'm a pony, I've owned every generation of Xbox. I'm a gamer first, and what's going on with Xbox definitely sucks. Yep. Well, I'm not going to say same. I don't consider myself a pony. I consider myself a very disgruntled Xbox fan. Brown Lex Luthor is taking over. We're in the final stages of Xbox. Agreed. Yes, agreed. Raphael McCoy bumps the member line, joins all on their own, and takes us to 137. You guys don't need a gifted member to become a member. You can become your own member. There is no Xbox. It's Microsoft Gaming. Indeed, that's where we're headed. This guy says here, Bellissimo says, the writing is on the wall. Xbox as we know it is on the way out, which is not ideal. Being a PlayStation gamer myself, it wasn't lost on me how the Xbox competition forced Sony to improve its services and offerings since the 360. I don't see this as being a fallout, right? I really don't. Yo, incredible BLK says cooking lately. Thank you. Listen, I'm just going to say it. I'm really proud of the content we've been making. These videos I truly feel like this is some of the best content I've made. Like the time that we're taking with the monologues, the editing. I'm just so thrilled with where, we are right now. It just feels great. I know I'm taking a week off. I'm not even worried about that. I'm so confident in what we've got with this format and the viewpoint and the support from you guys. I've never felt stronger about what I think our vision is for the channel and the content, and you guys are getting behind it with memberships and daily viewership and hanging out. I mean it. This is great. This is truly great. I get to go take a week of vacay with the fam and just feel so good about where we are right now. Unfortunately, that we're having to make content about something that is such a bummer, because I did not want this to be the course for Xbox. I really didn't. I'm not happy about this, and I'm super scared for all the small studios. I said it yesterday. I said, when you get to these company size, they'll just kill something like Stadia. They'll just kill something like the Mixer streaming platform. Like Google killed Stadia, Microsoft killed, the Mixer platform. And it's like, I think Microsoft is going to view game studios the same way. They're just going to be like, no, we don't need you. You're too small. You don't do anything for us. You're gone. It's such a concern. Oh my gosh, we were so worried about this last year. It's like, you guys don't understand. This is Microsoft we're talking about. Yo, a 5-bomb with Raven takes us to 142. Thank you so much, Raven. Really digging the new Premiere. Editing is getting better and better. The new flow is great too. Keep it up. Thank you, Suede. Thank you. Creature and I have hit a really, really good synergy. Like, I know what I need to do with the videos to help him, because the turnaround time is really fast. Like, I'm sending him videos at like 6 p.m. in the evening, and he's got a video ready for you guys the next morning. That's fast. So, your studio only made $200 million this year. COD made that last week. Don't need you. Who was in charge during the 360 days? I miss whoever was leading the charge in the mid 2000s. Ninja Theory getting canned, and now Microsoft will own the Hellblade IP. Will they own the Hellblade IP? How does that work, though? Because the first game, I wonder if they're going to try to own it. That'll be really upsetting. Can we just appreciate the cameraman for cutting to Xbox revenue as Bond was trying to explain Tango closure? Yeah, that's the cameraman. The cameraman understood the assignment, right? The cameraman understood the assignment. That's exactly right. I hang on a second. I got to make sure this is not a text from my wife. She's doing well, just tired. Okay. All right. We have friends of ours that are dealing with something. And a coffee order came in from somebody. Your first name starts with the letter D. Love ya. 3 Reforge Dark Roasts. Melania fight when? Thank you for the 5 spot. $5 super chat tip. I appreciate that. I went to add it to the member goal. Thank you for the $5 super chat tip. They own the team. They own the IP. So that's so interesting how that would work. So you buy Ninja Theory. You now own the first Hellblade? Like, you own... Couldn't that be delineated in the contract, Paul? That Ninja Theory would own... I don't think Microsoft would be okay with that. Who the frick am I kidding? Ninja Theory owns the IP. Microsoft owns Ninja Theory. If the studio closes and the founders don't work out a deal, Microsoft will own Hellblade. I don't even want to think about that. That depresses me, dude. That depresses me. I love that game so much. It would be like Sucker Punch suddenly getting purchased and being nervous about the next Tsushima, and then Sucker Punch getting closed down. I would be so scary. When they bought Ninja Theory, they own the IP because it's owned by Ninja Theory. Tango already had employees jumping ship. Franchise not monetized potential. Potentially just... I'm not saying that. The dude from Tango took a pic of all their awards saying not enough. Yeah, I loved the moxie I love that tweet. Oh, let's drag this in. Guys, if you're trying to order coffee before I'm out of town, today's your last day, all right? If you've never tried out our coffee before, head to reforgeroast.com. You know what? Indulge me. I don't talk about this enough, right? We've really slowed down on coffee orders, and it's because I don't talk about it. If you go to reforgeroast.com, you can go to our flavor profiles. Light and dark roasts are available right now. Frickmas is our holiday blend. So you can go to flavor profiles, and whichever you're in the mood for, right, you can always do a bundle and get the best of both worlds and try them both out. If you've never tried coffee before that is low acidity or balanced acidity coffee has a very great, robust flavor, but it's not bitter. There's no bitterness at all. So check it out. And if you're like, oh, I don't really like a dark roast, this is not high on the dark roast dark spectrum. Okay, this is not going to be like a Komodo dragon or something like that. This is going to be a very entrance level dark roast, and the light roast is our really good introductory one. So when you support that, you're not supporting a sponsor. That's mine. It's in my home. My wife and kiddos bag it up and ship it to you. You get little thank you notes from my kids. Bond needs to not do any more interviews. Consumer confidence is extremely important, and Phil has lost all of it. Bond still has some, but the more she talks, the more goodwill she will lose. The coffee's S tier. Thank you, Dark Taco. If you guys have ever, the best coffee for cold brew, people have done a cold brew of the dark roast and have told me that it's quite good. So, yeah, I really do feel like they trotted her out because nobody wants to see Phil right now. Right? Listen, I don't care how pretty her dress is. Nobody's happy right now, and she didn't restore any kind of confidence. Like, I think if you'd have trotted out Phil, you'd have been better off because people are already grumpy, and if you're just going to give a bunch of unsatisfactory answers, it might as well be the guy that everybody's upset with right now. You made her go out, and it's like, well, now she's got to say all this stuff that basically nobody wants to hear because they're not really good answers. There's no substance to them. Like, we stressed this yesterday, and it bears repeating. The fact that they closed Tango Gameworks only because they weren't working on anything, that tells you something. There was no value assessment. There was nothing that said, now, wait a minute, what does this team bring to the table? What have they shipped? And what does that do for the brand? It was, they're not presently working on anything. That's not a reason to... That's not a reason to shut a studio down, unless you're quite literally looking at studios that way. There's no good answer for closing them. That's why she didn't have a good answer. Yeah, there is not a good answer. There is no, well, we really assessed this and measured that and thought about the future. No, it's like, no, we had to immediately start lowering costs. So we just picked anybody who wasn't presently working on something. What about all the other teams that are presently working on something? Yeah, well, once they ship their stuff, they're next. They're next. Xbox logo template to go, according to the brand's latest news. I mean, according to what some people have told me, was it Matt Booty that said the name Xbox is stressed? Hire Phil to grind your coffee. I hear he'll need a job soon. That man ain't gonna need to work the rest of his life. Do you have any idea how wealthy he is? A lot of people want to see Phil fired, but this has to be more than just Phil. Listen, I tweeted it yesterday. Getting rid of Phil, I'm going to talk about that with Mike today. That's the second show. Second show today, I'm talking with 30 and Still Gaming about that. So, I'm going to whet your appetite for it. Okay? I think people pushing for that are idiots. I don't think you even understand what's going on. It wouldn't accomplish anything. And I'm going to discuss that with 30 and Still Gaming later. So I don't want to cannibalize my show with Mike, all right? A $5 super chat tip from Jack Turner. That's the first time you've ever super chatted my channel, man. Thank you. Tell me why you're not talking about any major games coming to PlayStation for the next 330 days, but continue to trash the Xbox roadmap. There's no major games coming to PlayStation? I don't understand what that has to do with the subject matter. I mean, Helldivers came out. It's the top-selling game of the year, so Maybe check that game out. I covered that a bunch. Oh, Stellar Blade was the second most downloaded game last month for PlayStation. So that one's really fun. I'm not quite done with that. Covered that, played that. There's a PlayStation Showcase coming that maybe we'll check out if I feel like it, if I'm not doing something like organizing my sock drawer or playing checkers with my imaginary friend. I think we'll probably cover that, and it'll likely fill in some spots for the rest of the year if you're curious about it, what's coming. Thank you for the $5, though. I see you're concerned about PlayStation. I think we'll be okay. I think it's going to be all right. I think we're going to get some games from them. I don't think they're done yet. I think we know Concord's coming. That's first-party game. Yeah. Also weird I didn't say anything about the Xbox roadmap. Oh, wait, I did. Oh, I forgot. I did. Somebody asked me about the Xbox roadmap yesterday, and I actually said they have a pretty good lineup still forthcoming. They have Hellblade 2. They have Avowed, they have Stalker 2, and they have Indiana Jones. I appreciate you reminding me to mention that, because I mentioned that yesterday. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the $5 Super Chat tip and, reminding me to talk good about Xbox so you don't wet your diaper too fast. I mean, we don't want you stressed, We don't want you stressed. He was bashing PlayStation. I know. I am mocking him. A 10 bomb from Kardock Ren takes us to 152. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. I now owe you guys, what is that? 25. I owe you 30 members. Fantastic. What did Creature say? Xbox has closed more studios this year than they've released games. Yeah, put that in a super chat. Shiny Ryu says, Xbox flew too close to the sun with that ABK deal. You got that right. Still didn't answer the question. Give me another super chat and I'll answer your question. I charge by the answer. Drop another super chat and maybe I'll give you an answer. No major AAA games until April 2025? Okay. All right. All right. You got anything else to say? 330 days. It's 11 months. It's got to be hard. I know it's hard to be on Team Green right now. I feel for you. I really do. 5 Spot from the Game Night says, you might have already seen it, but Tango recently celebrated their 14th anniversary on March 1st. Sarah replied, happy 14th, here's to many more. And Naps with a gifted member, thank you so much. Yeah, the fact that she said that, I don't think she knew this was going to happen. I don't think she knew. Yeah. Yeah, come back after the showcases. I tell you what. I think PlayStation's got a pretty full calendar already, from Final Fantasy to Helldivers to Stellar Blade, and then all those glorious Xbox first-party titles that are coming over. PlayStation's eating pretty good, and they're not even using their own first-party studios. That's pretty good. It's like they're winning a game with just a bunch of pinch hitters. Oh no! Whatever will we do? PlayStation's having such a terrible year as they ride the top of the sales charts with stuff that's not even from them. Oh no! Oh Oh, the tragedy of being successful with other people's property. PlayStation's down bad. Neo Reaper with a $5 super chat tip. You think any of the COD teams could be cut like Raven or Sledgehammer? It's possible. They might decide that that's just too much bandwidth. It's too much bandwidth. It's too much, it's too much money for one game. They might decide that. I don't know. Brandon with a 5 spot. I'll pay for his answer. I'm enjoying the sarcasm. Dude, PlayStation's down so bad, bro. I love it. I love it. It's like Xbox is cooked. They're done. They're like, it's Microsoft Gaming now. And somebody's like, yeah, but PlayStation first-party studios have been quiet for 7 months. Okay, what the frick does that have to do with anything? We should all buy bomb Hi-Fi Rush. It's getting Hi-Fi Rush is getting review bombed on Steam with positive reviews. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Like, people are so ticked. They're like, how dare you? We're going to go give it good reviews. I love that energy, dude. They're like, people are ticked. Like, you got to be kidding me, man. Can't believe you guys did this. This was a good game. I kept trying to tell people. I wish it would have sold better on Steam, obviously. But, I mean, it's had a great score. Even before people started doing the reverse review bomb. Yeah. The review bombing of Hi-Fi Rush on Steam right now is wild. The gaming industry is speaking loudly. They're like, listen, man, what are y'all doing? Oh, yeah, I liked Rise of the Ronin. Thank you for reminding me, Jack Turner, that Rise of the Ronin, did you see that it sold more? It surpassed Neo? Isn't that awesome? So Stellar Blades at the top of sales charts, Helldivers top of sales charts. Rise of the Ronin did better than Neo. Man, I appreciate you also reminding me about another game that I got from PlayStation this year. It's just really been great, It just has. I think you're doing a really great job of reminding us just how great PlayStation's doing right now. Thank you for doing that. Take out the micro and just call it soft gaming. Thank you for the $5 super chat tip. TJ Rage. Those are old news. That's right. The day or the week after they launch, they don't count. That's right. Listen, I know it's hard when Xbox isn't launching games, but some of us actually play them, and they matter beyond that first release date. I know you haven't had that yet, You'll figure it out in a couple of weeks. When Hellblade comes, Hellblade we'll probably be able to beat it in one sitting. But you'll know. I'm just kidding. I love Hellblade. I'm excited about Hellblade too. It's just too easy. It's too easy. Yo, a 10 spot from Rissick says, well, yeah, that's why they are getting all the third-party games, Jack, because Xbox is like two monkeys humping a football right now. And a 5 spot from Nightfire. Remember, don't forget to get your physical copies of Hi-Fi Rush from Limited Run. We have to preserve that gem of a game. Oh. Whew. Wait, you're supposed to play them? Yeah. It's quite literally like the argumentation. It's like when you lose like 5 games in a row and then you finally start to do not terrible and you start running your mouth. It's like, that's what this feels like. You can't seriously stand on games that launch Q1 of this year and ride them out the rest of this year. Do you know what quarter we're in? I think we're in the second quarter. Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, we're in the second quarter now. So basically, first quarter, all those games you're saying don't count. Okay. That's convenient since Xbox didn't do anything in the first quarter. Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand, like, when you own every system, you just get to play whatever comes out, right? What have you been, like, waiting for this moment? You're like, finally, it's May. I'm gonna go out and talk about how the first quarter doesn't count. Okay, like, What? Why? Why does it not count? I'm still playing Stellar Blade and having a good time. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to play Hellblade 2. Right? Because I've got all the systems, so it doesn't matter if one system takes a break like Xbox did. No worries. I've been eating real good. Prince of Persia, Helldivers, Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade, and now I've got Hellblade 2 coming. And then third quarter, I think Avowed, and then fourth quarter is Indiana Jones, and I believe we'll have Concord at some point in there. That's great. I'm very satisfied. Yeah. I think it's a very balanced year, you know? Over 200 days since Xbox released a game. Yeah. Explain AAA games that are coming out for the rest of the year. I don't need to. I'm eating real good because I can play whatever comes out. I was playing Hades 2, and that was really fun. I played No Rest for the Wicked, and that was really fun. See, unlike you, I'm a fan of games, and I just play whatever comes out. I don't know what you are, but you clearly only like, I guess, one platform, because apparently all the games that came out in the first quarter don't count, so you've not played them. So, you know, I feel sorry for people like you. You're just angry and upset about something. I've had a great year with games, and I'm going to keep having a great year with games. No, I didn't get a chance to check out Animal Well yet. Yeah, it's getting great scores. Yeah. I really enjoyed Prince of Persia, and I was really enjoying Tales of Kinsera, but then Stellar Blade came out, so I just moved to Stellar Blade. You don't know PlayStation? That's your loss, in my opinion. You missed out on a great first quarter of this year. You've missed out on a great first 3 years of the gen, right? You've missed out on some great games. I think you're missing out. You know? Sally with a $2 super chat tip. Hey, Lono, hope you're doing good. Thank you so much, Sally. I appreciate it very, very much. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, there's almost 900 of you here, man. Smash that like button. Let's see it. We should have 400 likes by now. There's almost 900 people here. Yeah, the Elden Ring DLC's coming up. Yeah, man, let's go. Yeah, Hades 2 is really good. It's really fun. I wish it was on console right now so I could play it in the evenings on my couch, but my wife and I did another Gunfire Reborn run last night. We can't get past that stinking pirate ship. We keep getting stuck in a bad cycle where he shoots these bombs and he'll kill one of us, res, and then the next volley's coming, and then we basically just kept trading deaths last night. It was like she would get me up, and then she'd go down, and I'd get her up. It was so frustrating. And 10 bomb comes in from Quintar and takes us to 163. Thank you so much. They're angry that they like and support something in decline and not popular. Well, I'm in too deep with Xbox. I got to go down with it. No, you don't. Why? No, seriously, have a conversation with me, Jack. I've been messing with you and teasing you, but let's have a conversation. You're clearly on an alt account that you created last year, so you probably got banned from the chat, okay? Why would you act that way? If you're a fan of video games, why be like, I'm in too deep, I gotta go down with the ship? What the frick for? What for? What are you gonna get out of it? That's what you're supposed to do with companies and games, is say, well, what am I going to get out of this relationship? That's why a bunch of us moved and spend more time on another platform now. I still have my Series X. I barely ever turn it on. That's because I ask, what am I going to get out of this relationship? That's the point. It's supposed to serve me. I'm not supposed to serve it. And a gifted member comes in from Mike onto Mike and takes us to 164. These things are here to serve you. You're not supposed to serve it. You shouldn't be subservient to these brands. It's why I laid into PlayStation on Monday, because I don't give a frick. I don't care if they blacklist me or don't give me codes because they didn't like how I covered the Helldivers 2 situation. I don't care. I'm not beholden to the brand. I don't serve the brand. That's not my job. And it's not your job either. If Xbox has gotten to the point where you're not getting from it what you want, then leave. Do something else. Buy something else. Invest in something else. There's no reason to spend your days on the internet warring for them. They don't, oh my gosh, they don't care about you. I've said this for well over a year. These companies, they don't care about you. They don't. What are you holding on to at this point? You're standing on the front line of a war for a country that's no longer behind you. There's nothing back there. There was a story I read. I believe it was in Vietnam. It might not have been Vietnam, but there were men that had lost their mind in the war, and they thought it was still going on, and they stayed in the jungles, and they were paranoid, and they had lost their connection to reality. Like, brother, the war is over. Come out of the jungle. What are you doing? This is over. The brand isn't even worth protecting or defending anymore. They've abandoned all of the principles that they promised were their goals. Like with ZeniMax, go back to 2021 and Phil's forecasting for ZeniMax and the future of the brand. It's gone. That's not even a thing anymore. Yeah, get yourself a nice PC. Get yourself a PlayStation 5. You're abandon this idea that you need to defend Xbox. You could hang out here and have a good time. You could become a member, get in our Discord, play video games with people. Inject your life with some joy. I mean it. I'm getting serious. Like, you guys got so far into this. There are some of you hate watching right now. You probably already clipped me a bunch of times. Man, live a better life. Good Lord. Live a better life. This is supposed to be fun. It's video games, not a source of contrarian grumpiness and being contentious and stirring up dissension. That's the life of a fool. Do you want to live the life of a fool? I don't. I had some fun with you, but I'm being serious, man. Time to live a different life. This is the first day where you can. Brian with a $5 super chat tip. Halo 1 through 3 with the boys was a good time. So sad to see what's happening to Xbox. So much going for the brand with the OG and 360. Then they destroyed it. Yeah, it's almost... You know what it reminds me of? You remember when... Oh, golly. When Steve Jobs basically talked about you don't want the marketing and the sales department having an effect on the products. I think that happened with the Xbox One. You let all these corporate marketing guys in the room. Yeah, we could turn it into a TV. It could be an entertainment box. More than gaming. Yeah. And they ruined it. It's like, what did you do? They let the marketing team in the room. That's what they did. That's what they did. And ever since then, they've just never been able to get their footing. And I'm telling you, Microsoft killed Xbox. You don't want marketing people running a tech company. That's exactly right. And you can see in the Xbox One, that's what happened. I use my PlayStation strictly to play new single-player exclusive for about a week or less, and then I go back to my Xbox because it's my central post. I own both, and I have for a long time. Yeah, here's the thing, Solemn. I think so many people misunderstood my frustration, my anger, my ire last year, and that's why they just assumed, oh, this guy's a pony. It was like, no, I'm a really frustrated Xbox fan. I've shown you guys my backlog, not my backlog, I'm sorry, my backwards compatibility collection. I have a massive amount of games from the 360 era and the Xbox One era. That's the largest library that I own. Still to this day, it's larger than my Steam library. It's larger than my PlayStation library by a pretty significant margin. Mike on the mic with the $2 says, we preaching today. Listen, yeah, I'll start dropping proverbs on your head, man. Don't live the life of a fool. It leads to destruction. Live the life of a wise man. Be a wise person. Jiminy. With Xbox going full on nuke, Sony messed up Helldivers. I think the next-gen consoles have had their time. Neither console has really delivered a next-gen game. I never understand, Steve, why people say that. What are you talking about? Demon's Souls Remake, Returnal, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Stellar Blade, Helldivers. And the Helldiver situation was a Steam issue that's been resolved. That has nothing to do with the console. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is not a bad cadence for not even full 4 years. That's roughly 3.5 years, and I just rattled off 10 games. Like, what? I've not been disappointed at all with my PlayStation 5 except for performance mode in Final Fantasy 16. That's it. Can you imagine if I could do that with Xbox first-party titles? Just quickly, maybe not first-party titles. I did say some exclusives. Just rattle off 10 games like that. Can you imagine if we were 3.5 years in and I could just rattle off 10 first-party games or exclusives for Xbox? I was just listed them all. It would be sweet. That's an amazing cadence. We'd be swimming. The problem's not this gen. The problem is Xbox's lack of contribution to the gen. Yeah, did I not even say Spider-Man 2? If I was able to do that with Xbox, we would be having such a different conversation. It'd be like, oh, there's too many games. We're swimming in games. Xbox hasn't contributed this gen. That's the problem. To try and help explain the not next gen, if you add for me, it makes more sense. There's a growing group of gamers out there who do not feel this gen was the leap that they expected. Well, I would go back and ask them what set their expectations, because I was promised higher resolution, got it. Options to do ray tracing, got it. Better frames per second, got it. Zero loading screens, got it. I literally can't go to a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro and play anything that looks... The only thing that even comes close to looking as good would be like the first Spider-Man or like Ghost of Tsushima. In general, everything I've gotten on my PS5 has been right where I expected it to be. For goodness, I don't know how anybody can look at Horizon Forbidden West or Burning Shores or Ratchet and Clank and be like, that's just not good enough. Well, that's not what I expected. Okay, what expectations did you have then? What are these expectations that haven't been met? If I go to the store and I expect to be able to go to the store and buy bagels and there are no bagels there and I'm upset, I can verbalize the expectation that wasn't met. I was hoping to buy some Dave's Killer bagels and they're not here and I'm angry. What were you expecting out of this gen that you didn't get? Specifically, all those games I listed on PS5. Those games don't look much better than Red Dead 2. Go on to the stores, the majority of the games look like mobile phone games. Neither platform are worth the price tag. So but again, I don't think you can take one breakout award-winning game and indict the entire generation. Red Dead also doesn't run all that well because it's old, so there's no 60 FPS. Red Dead also has what I consider to be pretty janky combat. Like, they didn't really evolve the combat at all. It's a great game. But this idea like, well, they don't look that much better than Red Dead. Listen, if I continue to get games that are slightly better looking than Red Dead Redemption, that's a win. How is that not a win? Yeah, I think Horizon Forbidden West looks better than Red Dead anyway. You got better lighting, you got better use of color. It's fantastic. Red Dead is gorgeous, and then you're getting into subjective opinion. But I definitely think we've gotten some games that far exceed Red Dead in visual fidelity and in looking real and in looking impressive and big open worlds. Like, I don't know. If you're going to try to indict the entire generation because you're like, yeah, well, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 looks really good, and these games only look marginally better than that. I think that's such a weird way to judge video games. I've never done that. I've never booted up a game and I'm like, well, I don't know. It's got to have a margin of better graphics than Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, that just seems like such a quick route to not enjoying something. Like, comparison is the thief of joy. Why would you do that to yourself? Like, to sell all these games down the river, all these award-winning games, because you're like, yeah, well, Red Dead's beautiful, so these games didn't do enough. Like, what? Hang on, I didn't thank True SSJ Havoc with a $10 super chat tip. It's crazy, Lono. People keep forgetting you own everything, which is ideal. Jack Turner, stop beholding to one platform. Microsoft doesn't care about console wars. Console gaming to them is low priority. Thank you very, very much. I missed that one. True SSJ Havoc. All right, I'm all caught up. Oh, no, I got a new one. Brian with a 5 spot says, I used to dislike you. Sorry. But after switching to PC and leaving Xbox behind, I can eat my words and say you were right. I was blinded by false hope. Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I've been telling people that, and I said this many times last year, I said, listen, I'm on your side and you keep spitting in my face. I'm trying to tell y'all what's going on here. As an Xbox fan, I was very frustrated last year. And I felt like I was taking up for the Xbox audience and they just kept spitting in my face. And it was like, all right. This guy says, I've heard it all. A video game chat comparing game industry to Nom. I love it. Listen, there's still well over 900 people here, man. Let's get 400 likes. I want you guys to take a second. A lot of you are chatting, which means you're touching the screen. Take a second and hit that like button. Let's hit 400 right now. It'll help this video find more people. Crispy Bogod with 32 months says, Michael Jackson's the king of pop music. I haven't listened to music since because the new artists aren't next gen. Thank you for 32 months, Crispy Bogod. And a 2 spot from Kevin UK 100 says, what is their upcoming showcase going to look like? I'm assuming that you mean Xbox. Okay, so I said something, I believe this was last week. Yeah, I think this was last week. I think that the Xbox podcast where Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty sat down to talk about the 4 games coming, I think that's the last time they speak directly to the Xbox audience. I mean it. They're done talking to you. And with no hate in my heart, they don't care about you. They don't. You're not a priority to them anymore. Can you please restate your Vietnam metaphor, but with an army helmet on, like RDJ and Tropic Thunder? Survive. Captain Steve says, that's what I'm saying. Consoles are not the future. I'm frustrated with both consoles. The management, the greed. Hoped after lockdown studios would blow me away, but all the games just blow. Excuse me, Captain Steve, I'm never going to convince you that the 10 or 11 games that I rattled off for PlayStation are good if you've just decided if it doesn't blow Red Dead 2's graphics out of the water, then it's not worth playing. That's a measurement that doesn't make sense to me. Like, critique and break down Returnal's gameplay and the ambition of a bullet hell rogue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ratchet & Clank is like playing a Pixar movie in motion. Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok are just beautiful games, stunning games, wonderful voice acting, amazing stories. Spider-Man 2 is one of the best open-world action games I've ever played. Like, if that's the only thing you were coming into this gen for, I that's your choice as a gamer. My opinion is that just feels so short-sighted to be like, yeah, you didn't even give these games a shot because you're like, yeah, well, Red Dead looks good and they don't look that much better than them. Well, Red Dead's not 60 FPS. Does Red Dead have instantaneous load times? Like, there are other things that make for incredibly seamless experiences. Like the lack of load times in Ratchet or in Returnal. It actually has an impact on the experience. It's just phenomenal. Like, these are wonderful games. They're nominated for awards for a reason. But I'm not going to try to convince you that they're worth playing if your measurement is, well, it doesn't look that much better than Red Dead 2, so I'm not even going to give it a chance. Imagine comparing Red Dead 2 at 30 FPS to games Sony has released now at 60 FPS and higher and thinking that's not a big enough leap for a $500 box. You'll never be happy if that's you, says Eugene. I agree. When all the best games on consoles come out on PC, why keep the console? The games you listed are out on PC. Ragnarok's not there yet. Spider-Man 2's not there yet. Did I just double up my audio? Okay, whew. I don't know why why is this open? Like, this is an argument that commonly happens, Steve. If you're happy on PC, why did you, like, this is a genuine question. If you're happy on PC, why in the world did you think consoles were going to impress you? Like, if you're rocking 2080 Ti and up, if you're on a rig with a 2080 Ti and up, and you're happy, what did you think a $500 console was going to do for you? You would have to be coming from a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. That's when you would say, oh, the leap is amazing. They're doing stuff on the PS5 that wasn't even possible on the previous gen. Like, just 5 years ago, you would have never been able to do any of the stuff they're doing in these games. I mean, they did a real quick polish up, spit shine update to Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like there's not even loading screens anymore. It's phenomenal. Like, if you're coming from PC and you're on like a 2080 Ti and up, I don't know why you're even paying attention to consoles. Unless, of course, you really want to play the games right when they come out. And if you're satisfied with 144060, like I am, I think 144060 is the sweet spot. I think 1440 is just high enough on the resolution and just smooth enough on performance. It's this wonderful happy medium. I'm happy with 144060. If you're happy with 144060, then a console is a bargain. It's $500 and you get games right as soon as they came out, and you don't have to wait. If 144060 isn't good enough for you, then your priorities dictate you stay on PC and you just wait for the port. I don't have a gaming PC yet. I'm saying I'll sell both consoles. If I knew how much of a letdown they are, I would have just gotten a PC. Again, I could understand that sentimentality if you bought an Xbox Series X, because the Xbox Series X hasn't delivered on practically anything that it promised. But the PS5, I was promised higher resolution, ray tracing, better frames per second, better load times, better looking games in general, just higher graphical fidelity, and I have received that in spades. I've not once thought, oh man, PlayStation's just absolutely failing to give me what they said they would. Their marketing set my expectations. I have received that. Xbox, on the other hand, their marketing set expectations. I've received nothing at that level outside of Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon is quite literally the only game that delivered on the promises of the marketing for the Series X. Virtually none other game has even come close from the first-party lineup. A 5-spot from Mike on a Mic. Yo, can someone please explain the Red Dead Redemption 2 obsession? I've never played it. I've seen it, obviously. I don't get it. It's, it's an award-winning game. It's an impactful game. I think sometimes that happens to people. They play something, they work, they do something, and they're like, this is it. This is the paragon. I work in IT, and trust me, not everyone is tech savvy. In fact, we're seeing a rise in tech illiteracy. Gen Z is as bad with computers as Gen X and even boomers. You are 100% allowed to be disappointed in the consoles. I don't understand this broad stroke of this gen's been an utter disappointment. I don't get that. I'm like, I don't understand. One side has delivered a very consistent cadence of great, fun, beautiful, great performance games, and the other side hasn't. And everybody wants to like project like the reality for Xbox on the entire industry. And I'm like, okay, I don't get that at all. I haven't had a single, my only gripe has been the performance mode of Final Fantasy 16. That's it. That's the only thing I've been frustrated with this gen on PS5. It looks pretty. It has a good story. You get to be a cowboy. There's your explanation. Gameplay is dog crap, though. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think the shooting was very good in Red Dead. I didn't. I liked riding the horse. I loved the dialogue and the voice acting. I thought the world and the freedom within the world was great. But it didn't make some kind of an impact on me where I boot up God of War Ragnarok and I'm like, this looks like crap. Like, you know what I'm saying? My brain can't get into whatever lane that is, whatever gear the car is that you're driving in. I can't get there. I'm like, what were you expecting? Like 4K 120? What were you wanting the games to do? I said this at the beginning of this generation. I said Horizon Forbidden West is close to the graphical fidelity ceiling of this gen. And I got all kinds of pushback. And I said, no. I said, there's not much headroom left. This is what games are going to look like this gen. And I'm fine with that. If I get games on the Pro that look that pretty with a boost to res or with a boost to frame rate, or frame rate's just more stable, or I get some ray tracing thrown in, because typically if you want frames, you turn ray tracing off on most games. That's kind of the way that it goes. Like, I will be absolutely thrilled and satisfied with that. I'm totally fine with that. Now, that's my expectations. Those are my preferences, not yours. So, you know... But I remember getting a lot of pushback. I was like, I think we're close to the graphical fidelity ceiling. I don't think you're going to see some late-gen PS5 title, and you're going to be like, this blows Horizon Forbidden West out of the water. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They're not. The PlayStation 5 isn't strong enough for that. It's strong enough to deliver an amazing game like Horizon, and that, to me, that's what I paid for. That's what I was expecting. I said going into this generation that we'd see a larger rise in people who aren't happy with the gen, and that's why I'm not surprised. Well, why? Do you think that's because people had unrealistic expectations, Ginger? Like, did they just... This is what I think happened. I'll give you my theory about what happened, Ginger. I think in times past, when you would jump from one gen to the next, there was like light years of difference. And this gen, it was like, well, it's higher frame rate and the resolution's higher and the lighting's prettier. It's not this dramatic difference. It's not night and day, right? It's like the difference between dusk and day, right? Night and day difference is like, whoa. This is more of like the difference between dusk and day. It's like, okay, the chasm's not quite as broad. AOZ with a $5 super chat tip says, PC elitists question why consoles are around when their grandparents call for tech support. They roll their eyes with zero sympathy. True story. Ginger says 100% expectations have been set from one gen to the next that you would see massive leaps. Yeah, I think that's what happened. We didn't see that last gen you could really do until the end of the gen, but we have to agree now. My expectations perhaps were unrealistic, and PC has moved so fast it's making this gen look... Still, I mean, here's the dilemma you're always going to run into with PC, though, Captain Steve. And this is where, I mean, we can kind of bring things back to the subject matter of Microsoft killed Xbox. We're like way out in left field, not talking about the main subject. I think PC tech advances so fast that I think you're going to start to see games continuing to struggle to tap into it. Because games that are being developed right now, they're not going to like go back and like retroactively be like, well, let's update our game for that 5090 card or whatever the heck comes out next, right? Now, I think a good bridge to help with that is DLSS and AI upsampling that we might see from AMD, and then the PSSR technology in the PS5 Pro. These can assist essentially always giving a game that maybe it's been in development for 5 or 6 years and the tech's advanced. Well, the upsampling and the machine learning technology can help to say, well, we can make your game look so amazing, and this new card and this proprietary tech's going to do that. As opposed to a game coming out and being like, well, I mean, our game was in development and those cards just came out. So, I mean, yeah, you can throw raw power at the card now, right? You can get better frame rate or better performance. But I think that's the technology that's going to assist with, because it's just like the tech comes out too fast. Like, how are you supposed to have a game in development for 5 or 6 years and then suddenly be like, oh, when we laid the foundational groundwork for this game and its engine and the lighting systems and everything else, we use this technology and now everything's different. I think that's always going to be a challenge for developing for the ever growing, technology within the PC world and with AI and machine learning. A $5 super chat tip from Nightfire says, if Horizon Forbidden West is already at the fidelity cap, imagine what we get when the art directors start flexing their muscle within that cap. I didn't say that we're at the fidelity cap. I said we are close to the fidelity ceiling. I don't think there's as much headroom. There's not much headroom left in the PS5 to be tapped into. There's no secret trick they're going to pull out of their hat. I don't think so. I mean, the PS5 Pro and the PSSR technology maybe, but that's more upsampling. That's not like adding new things. That's the ability to do more without losing performance. Forbidden West on my 7900 looks incredible, says Brian Corcock. He says, going to be hard to beat that game from a fidelity standpoint. Looks better than Red Dead 2 in my opinion. Thank you so much for the 5 spot. I mean, I think that might be inadvertently well stated, Brian, that this gen is delivering games that look even better when they're on PC and have that untapped power of like, we can go even higher with this stuff. I played Horizon Forbidden West on a 2080 Ti rig and basically ran it at 1440-60, and it was solid. It was amazing port work by Nixxes. I thought it looked unbelievable. I was like, wow. And I don't even have a top-of-the-line rig anymore. I'm more in the middle of the road at this point. The PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 was not revolutionary at all. Some devs said the Cell CPU was better than what the PS4 had. It was late-gen PS4 when things really kicked into high gear. It was late-gen PS3 when things really kicked it into high gear. And I think people are expecting that from the PS5, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to land in the late gen of the PS5 and be like, oh my gosh, they're doing something that, look at this game, it completely blows God of War Ragnarok out of the water. I just don't think so. And if I'm wrong, wonderful. Wonderful if I'm wrong. That video is screaming. Oh my gosh. The video from this morning is absolutely screaming. Thank you guys so much for supporting the premieres and the uploads. Wow. That's amazing. What a strong day. What a strong send-off day, man. Game is going to be a steaming pile of dog crap. Yeah, there's a lot of people that really agreed with the concern about Hellblade. I thought we were going to get a lot of hate on that video, but a lot of people are like, yeah, I kind of agree. They're kind of worried. Thank you to all the brand new subscribers today as well. Holy moly. Wow. Just phenomenal. If you guys are enjoying the show, keep in mind and order a coffee from Zuby. Thank you so much. Coffee orders are amazing as well. Angry Pete gifts a member and takes us to 165. He just set up the 10 bomb dunker. We'll see if somebody drops a 10 bomb of gifted members to get us to 175. If you guys are enjoying the show, okay, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button. And I'm a Safe for Work broadcaster. There's a ton of you here. We do this Monday through Friday. I will be out of town next week. Streams will resume on the 20th, all right? And also, if you're taking a second to just do all the things that help the channel, hit that like button. Let's set our sights on 500 likes. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Game engine maturing could help. UE 5.4 is actually looking better, says Paul. Oh, this is so well stated, Hyde. I love this. This is excellent pushback. This generation leap is not just in fidelity, but in scale. Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores boss fight, Ratchet, Icon fights, and Final Fantasy 16. That's exactly right, Hyde. And a 10 bomb comes in from MASH and takes us to 175. And the Agent of Chaos comes in with Risic and takes us to 176. But then we're going to go up to 181 with Behemoth. Thank you guys so much. I still have not gifted the members that I owe you. The Decima engine's better than UE5. I actually would love it if the Decima engine got licensed out to more studios the way that Unreal is. I think that'd be phenomenal. I think the Decima engine's awesome. What they were able to do with DLSS, with Death Stranding. Oh, Jiminy. Can we just... Let's just license that engine out, dude. Let people use that engine. It's great. Death Stranding fan. The clips of the preview look so good. Yeah, Death Stranding 2. Wow. Yo, Rich Rod with a $2 super chat tip. At work, what did I miss so far? Xbox name dying. Yeah, let me give you guys a bit of a recap. If you have not watched my video, Microsoft killed Xbox, be sure to check that out later. Give it a like, give it a comment. That video is screaming right now. I love to see it. I'm not an uploader. I've been a live streamer for like 10 years. We just started dipping our toe into doing just more higher effort uploads with lots of editing and lots of, research and putting stuff up on the screen for you. So make sure and check out that video. I'll give you a quick run through of the bullet points of it in just a second. Toasted Notes with a 5 bomb takes us to 186. So be sure to go watch the video. I'm going to give you the hype. I'm going to give you like the bullet points from it right now. All right. We got a comment here on Twitter about the video. It says, the opening monologue video was brilliantly produced and spoken, so high quality source, etc. You are absurdly underappreciated. Great job to you and the team. Thank you very much, Lulian. That means a lot. It means a lot. We put a lot of work in those videos. I actually had to rush yesterday. That you might not be able to tell. I think I kept it together, but that was a rushed video. I did each section, and I was terrified I was going to make a mistake and have to start over. Okay, so let me give you a very quick bullet point Cliff's Notes rundown of the video. While I'm doing this, take a brief second and smash that thumbs up. Make sure it's saving your thumbs up. That like button helps the video, and we're crushing it today, all right? So I basically argued that Microsoft has killed Xbox, and they have basically set up Xbox to fail from the very beginning with their corporate policies, all right? And I walked through the ZeniMax acquisition, the Activision Blizzard acquisition, and then everything kind of is coming to a head in 2024. And then I gave my thoughts that, like, this is just very clearly a trajectory that Xbox was, I don't think, ever set up to flourish and to succeed. I believe that the studios have always been set up to fail, and it's Microsoft's fault. Oh, yeah, you and the team. Yeah. Me and Creature. That's it. It's just us. This wouldn't be possible. This wouldn't be possible without him. He hates when I say stuff like that, but I'm able to provide for my family and roof over their head and food on the table because people like him stepped in and kept me in this business because I almost drifted out of it. So yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Wolf Saints with 8 months. Lono putting the fry in Friday. He cooking. Now, the reason that I started with the ZeniMax Bethesda acquisition is because in 2021, I think Phil was still in the mindset of the old playbook. I do. I think he had the mindset of the old playbook. He says, this is about exclusives to go to Game Pass. He goes to ZeniMax and he says, everything's exclusive. To the point that the CFO was like, wow, everything? Now, if you take that posture, I just want you to picture that posture in your brain of Phil doing interviews, ZeniMax about exclusives, and then he goes to ZeniMax and he's like, everything's exclusive. I want you to picture that posture, and I want you to contrast that with what he said at the end of last year. At the end of last year, he says, we consider PlayStation and Nintendo part of the community now. And then the CFO signals, you're going to see a bit of a change of strategy. First-party games are going to go to what was previously considered competitors, PlayStation and Nintendo. That posture doesn't even connect or line up with what Phil did in 2021. I suspect they spent too much money to be ignored now. Basically, Activision Blizzard was tectonic. It was completely seismic within like, oh my gosh, there's a seismic shift now in how we need to treat the gaming division for recoup of cost and then profit going forward. And so that's when I argued. I said, look at the trajectory of this year. It all starts last year, actually. When Phil Spencer says Activision Blizzard's not our strategy, it's an accelerant to our strategy. Then he tells Famitsu they're basically part of the community now. The CFO says you're going to see a change of strategy. The beginning of 2024, we hear rumors that first-party games are going to go to the competitors. Then they do this podcast. They basically say nothing's off the table. Phil does an interview with The Verge and says nothing's off the table, basically confirming that titles as big as Starfield and Indiana Jones are likely going to go to the competitor side. Then we see layoffs. We see studio closures that don't seem to make sense. They only seem to make sense from the perspective of we're in the end game now. Xbox is no more. We are entering into the era of Microsoft gaming. They've walked into the room and said, we wrote a $70 billion check and we're going to get our money back. You're messing with my money now. You're messing with my money now. We're not talking about an $8 billion acquisition of ZeniMax. We got out the big checkbook for this. And the only way we get our money back is we take a completely different posture than before. There is no more of this, we're going to shore up exclusives for Game Pass. That's been Thanos snapped out of existence. That's not even a thought on the table. It's gone. It's gone. And Game Pass, I can't believe that Sarah Bond said what she said about Game Pass. I'm like, I can't imagine Game Pass not getting dramatically changed over the course of the next couple of years. I can't even see it. I don't even know why. I don't even know why she said what she said. Like, we're going to continue to put our first party games. We're going to continue to put our first party games on Game Pass. Like, why would you even commit to that at this point? Why? Just raise the price of Game Pass to the point that people start falling off of it and buying games again. Could it be phased out entirely? I don't think they're going to phase it out. Well, okay, I'll tell you what they're probably going to do. I'll tell you what they're probably going to do with Game Pass. A five bomb from terminal stupidity and takes us to 191. So they're going to raise the price of Ultimate, and I believe day and date will shift to Ultimate. I believe they will take Xbox Game Pass Core and Standard Game Pass, and they're going to smash them together. And they're going to say introductory Game Pass is like a slate of games that we update periodically. If you want day and date, you got to go to Ultimate. That's what I think they're going to do. Because they're not interested in giving you Call of Duty on Game Pass. Like they are absolutely not interested in that. Did we hit the goal? Oh, more than enough. You guys blew the goal out of the water. We needed like 84 members to hit the goal. You guys want another goal? What do you want me to do? Like, if that hits 300 members, what do you want me to do? You're going to hit 200 without breaking a sweat. You got to come up with something. I'm out of ideas. I'm out of ideas. Echo's Art Planet says, I hate to say this, but Microsoft deciding to this awful change makes money sense for the company and shareholders, but at the expense of the consumer and ultimately at the livelihoods of the devs. This is why so many of us warned. So many of us warned about this. It's like you don't want Microsoft to own all this property. You don't. Nicola says on Twitter, he says, Alan Wake 2 was marketed well, won awards and recognition, and available on all platforms. It sold 1.3 million copies and is yet to break even. Hellblade 2 is effed. It's hard not to see it that way. What number do we need to sit for you just to sit in awkward silence? You fight Moog with your fists? You have to finish Star Rail if we hit 300 members? Star Rail? Did you mean to put Starfield? I can't finish Starfield. That's a huge commitment. You think they're going to raise Ultimate to 20? Creature has to host the show while you're gone next week. Listen, I'm trying to make money, okay? I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm not trying to lose it all. He wouldn't last 10 minutes. He'd be cussing everybody out. It'd be over. Grand opening, grand closing. Stand-up comedy bit, next goal. No, Star Rail? What the heck is Star Rail? Where's the Hellblade marketing if they want it to succeed? I may never play on PS5 again. I mean, that's not realistic. I have to be able to cover the video games that come out. He says, me in the chair 5 days in a row, we'd be down to 500 subs by day 3. Yeah, we'd be in bad shape. We'd be in bad shape. Oh, man. Think about this from the perspective of the Hellblade 2 marketing. All right, just think about this from this perspective. Why? Yeah, that's the perspective. I mean it. Why? Madam Butterfly? Oh, I would smoke Madam Butterfly. I'd get back into the rhythm and I'd tear her to shreds. That fight's fun once you know how to handle it. It might take me a while to get back on the horse because I haven't played in a long time, but I'd probably have an easier time with her than anybody else. But that's the question. If you're Microsoft, if we are truly entering the era of Microsoft gaming, why? Why market Hellblade 2? What's the point? Why spend massive amounts of marketing dollars on it? Why? It's coming to Game Pass. What's that going to do for you? Where's the ROI on that? Now, I know they're ramping up and they're doing a regional and global marketing campaign. I know they've said that, right? But I don't think you're going to see what you want to see for that game. There's no reason to give it that treatment. There just isn't. How many more sales would an extra $2 million spent on marketing generate? That's exactly right. Like, Solemn says, maybe there's no marketing because they aren't confident it will succeed and do not want to draw more attention to the game now that it's realized and the state of the player expectations now compares to when they started the game. I mean, that certainly is another concern. That certainly is another concern, Solemn. Is that they're like, I've said many times, Solemn, I don't think the game's ready. I don't think the game's ready. The team is too small, and I think they were too ambitious. Creature playing 2K with Lono and Madam on his team. They're not marketing Hellblade 2 because I think after its release, Microsoft will close Ninja Theory. They don't want to waste money on marketing when they're going to close the studio. You should do the shows for everyone today since it's the last day. I'm not sure what you mean, do the shows for everyone. I'm doing a show for everyone right now. Hellblade was a success because it was a PlayStation timed exclusive. Period. Spawnwave did a 17,000 vote poll, and 61% said they're not interested in Hellblade 2. I've said for a while I don't think it has broad market appeal. I don't think it has broad market appeal, and I don't think that's a slam. It's just what kind of game that it is. It's dark, it's macabre, it's creepy, it's a short game, it's cinematically driven. I really don't think it's going to be this broad market appeal game. And that's okay if it's part of a cascade of really good, unique value, value-laden deliveries for Xbox, like Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think it will have the market appeal, draw, or attention that Hi-Fi Rush got, and Tango's gone. To me, it's my favorite game, my favorite franchise. I love the developer, and I'm like, yeah, they're probably done. They're probably in jeopardy. And if they bring the game to PlayStation, that might be their saving grace. But again, then the game has to be really good, really polished, and ready to go, which I'm worried that it's not ready. The development timeline for that game just doesn't seem long enough. Now, the only thing I'll grant in the discussion is that I'll grant you this. It's a shorter game, so maybe they have had enough time. I just don't know. They switched from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. That had to slow things down. They'll market Hellblade 2 when it releases on the PS5. Hellblade 2 on PS5 day one would be a major success if it's their type of game. So next year it will be big on PS5. And maybe that saves Ninja Theory. I don't know. Are they gone though, really? Studios are about their talent. A name is just a name. Follow the devs. Well, I mean, we would lose Hellblade in the process though, Ginger. Like if Ninja Theory's gone and then Microsoft retains the rights to Hellblade, I'd be furious because I anticipate Ninja Theory's vision for that game is to do a trilogy. Like just with the way they've named it. Senua's Sacrifice, Senua's Saga, and then they'd probably want to keep it with an S. Senua's Sacrifice, Senua's Saga, and Senua's... I don't know what the last one would be, but I would imagine they would want to do a third one and resolve the story, give her some type of, Senua's Salvation. Right? Her sacrifice, her saga, her salvation. Like it's a complete trajectory for the character. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Game Pass or not. It was taken from the fan base that made it a success. You're following the IPs and not the devs. Good devs will create new IP and fresh IP, in my opinion. Yeah, but Ginger, I don't think you're glib, but that sounds glib. What? It's a great franchise. Well, it's fine if they close the studio, they'll make a new studio, and they'll make a new IP. Come on. Come on. That sounds glib. And you're not glib. That's terrible if that happens. Y'all just follow the devs. They'll make a new IP. It's like my favorite IP, bro. I don't want a new IP. I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want a new IP. It's not glib. It's just what happens. But that sentence is like you just said. It's not glib as you type some. That's yeah. I saw bits and pieces of the Sarah interview. Yes. It's not just what happens. It isn't. Where else is this happening? Where? Who else is doing this? You want to point to Embracer. Embracer is in a completely different financial problem. They're not like, oh, we overspent, we acquired so much stuff, we now have to treat everything like an expendable cost reduction. Embracer basically had a terrible deal go belly up on them, and now they're having to, like, they're basically in like an emergency financial free fall. So they're trying to get people, they're trying to divest and sell and trim the fat. Everywhere, everyone does this. I have not seen this to this scale and this degree in the gaming industry because there's never been an acquisition to this degree. Yo, it's good, Brat. Yo, it's good, Donnie. Sorry I'm late. I was just getting platinum in Stellar Blade. That's a flex. I believe that is a flex. There's some pretty there's not nasty. There's some pretty like nitpicky things you have to do to get it. I'm not arguing finances here. Just look at Respawn after the fallout with Activision Blizzard. I'm not sure what you're referring to. We're talking about potentially losing. These are long-standing studios, Ginger. Some of these studios have been around for a long time. Arcane Austin's been around for a long time. Tango Gameworks, when were they formulated? When did they start? I can't find. Was formed? What would you say? Was formed? 2010. It looks like. Tango Gameworks has been around for 14 years. It looks like. Titanfall wouldn't exist if not for that fallout. Okay. With respect, Ginger, you're completely misrepresenting what happened and what led to Respawn. There were a couple of guys from Infinity Ward that left or were let go or were mistreated or whatever. Whatever happened there. Respawn wasn't like a company that had a fallout with Activision Blizzard. These guys had a fallout with Infinity Ward and they formed Respawn. And yes, that led to Titanfall 1 and 2 and now Apex Legends, right? But I said this to somebody the other day. I don't have any appreciation for people being like, well, good can come from bad, so the bad's okay. No. No. None of this is like okay simply because it happens. Like, we don't want to agnostically shrug our shoulders at this and be like, well, that's just business. No. Microsoft are corporate raiders. This is everything that everybody feared would happen if they got control. We're not seeing other companies gobble up $70 billion worth of studios that have been around for 10, 15 years, and then just killing them because it's like, well, we're not going to make any money from you. Nobody else is doing this. You're making an argument I'm not making? Well, you said this is just what happens, and I said, no, it's not. And you substantiate that it just happens by referencing the formation of Respawn, which was from executive fallout at Infinity Ward that led to Respawn forming. That wasn't like a studio that got shut down and reformed. It's not even a parallel. Straw man's the word you're looking for? I'm not straw manning. I literally just tracked his argument. He said, this is just what happens. And I was like, no, it's not. And then he referenced Respawn and Titanfall. That was not some big giant company gobbling up studios and killing them and good coming from it. There was a fallout at Infinity Ward. Those guys left. They were not treated. I believe they were like, they even claimed they were wrongfully fired. And then they go and form Respawn. That's not what's happening here. We're seeing studios close down. You are straw manning? That's a coward's cop-out to claim that. I just retraced everything you've said. I'm practically quoting you directly. I'll do it again. I will do it again. He says, I'm not arguing finances here. Just look at Respawn after the fallout with Activision Blizzard. There was no fallout with Activision Blizzard. Respawn formed because of something that happened in Infinity Ward. Prior to this, he said everywhere. He said everyone does this. He substantiates the claim that everyone does this by going to Respawn's formation and then incorrectly and erroneously summarizes how Respawn was even formed. I'm not saying Respawn is the same as Microsoft buying a company. Never said anything like that at all. Yes, you did. You said everybody does this. And I said, what? Where? And then you told that story. You don't even know the argument you're making. Yeah, he said everyone, and then you named one case. What? That was your argument. Respawn was started by one of the most talented devs in the history of the gaming business. Right, and Respawn was not born out of studio foreclosure. You said I said that equals straw man. Ginger, I'm sorry. What you're doing right now is completely ridiculous. You said everyone does this. I said who, and you said look at Respawn and the fallout with Activision Blizzard. That was your argument. I'm reading what you said. That's not a straw man. That's not a straw man. What you're doing is so disrespectful. It's like you're not even being honest. You said follow the devs. It's not that it would follow the devs. Don't follow the studios. This happens all the time. Everyone does this everywhere. And then you ran to Respawn. And you didn't even properly summarize how Respawn was formed. You made it sound like they were born out of a fallout with Activision Blizzard, which isn't even true. My core argument I'm making is that you follow the studio and the IP, follow the devs. Okay, so you're basically saying we should just follow Ninja Theory because these guys left Infinity Ward and made Titanfall. But that's not what's happening right now, though. I think that's where there's a giant disconnect. Like, your argumentation doesn't really land with me because it's like, that's not what happened with Infinity Ward and Respawn and Titanfall. It wasn't studio foreclosure. It was a couple of guys left and formed a new studio. Not at all. Follow the people who make the thing you love. How am I supposed to follow hundreds of people, Ginger? When a founder, okay, so the co-founder of Ninja Theory, okay? Co-founder of Ninja Theory leaves on his own. I can follow him and I can pay attention to what he's doing, sure. Who am I supposed to follow when you just close Tango? When you just close down Arcane Austin? What am I supposed to do? Go to LinkedIn and try to befriend everybody who worked at those companies? Be like, well, I got to find out where you land because you guys did really good work. That's not even remotely the same as following like the founder or like the head honcho guy that like goes and starts a new company. He means if you like Joseph Staten, you follow where he goes. Right. And referencing Titanfall and Respawn is not even remotely the same as what we're talking about here. If Ninja Theory gets closed this year, there's nobody to follow. The studio is just gone. Wait for the announcement. Formo Tango devs form a new studio. Okay, so let's say that happens. That doesn't suddenly make what's happening what your claim was. Everybody does this. It happens everywhere. And you haven't substantiated that because I don't see it demonstrated in the gaming market that we have had mass acquisitions that have resulted in tons of studios closing. Show me that in the history of gaming. Do it. Do it. You can't because it hasn't happened. It's happening right now. We're literally going to look back at this year. This year will be a time where we say that was the year we probably lost more studios ever than in the history of gaming. Embracer Group is certainly adding to the problem with what they did. But this has never happened before. That's why I took what you said. I was like, that just feels so glib to be like, well, this happens all the time and they'll just form better studios. They'll just form new studios. Like, what? How many times has that become a successful venture? They don't have the funding or marketing. Right. Think about this too, Ginger, because you're one of the people on Twitter that are driving like the industry's changing, like exclusives are bad. That's something you've been saying on Twitter, Ginger. If the industry's changing and the industry's unsustainable, like so many people are out here saying, who's going to fund a bunch of new, smaller studios? You keep going back to mass acquisitions, but I'm talking about the devs. Because, Ginger, we can't talk about what's happening right now without talking about the mass acquisitions, because that's what brought us here. That's what brought us here. You can't look at this in a vacuum. That's why I bristled at you saying, oh, everybody does this. This happens everywhere. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. This is quite literally a moment in gaming history. This is the first time we've ever seen an acquisition of this size to then lead to just boom, 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 4 studios gone. Just, and more on the way, likely. That's not something that just has been happening. It's new. It will cause a reverberative effect in the economy of gaming. It will cause talent loss. People will leave the industry because it won't be tenable. It's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to, every studio that shuts down is just going to go start up a new studio and get funding? You think venture capitalists and angel investors right now want to dump money in the gaming industry as Microsoft just takes studios to the threshing floor? No! You're living in a dream world if you think that's where we're headed. You're living in a dream world if you think all these studios getting closed down are just going to crop up somewhere else. Now, some of the main talent, some of the higher up, sure, they'll land jobs. But good night. Hang on, I got to thank this super chat tip. Through SSJ Havoc with a $10 super chat tip. The problem with that argument, Ginger, with Tango, for example, Tango's dead. There will be no Ghostwire Tokyo sequels. Even if I follow the devs, the IP is still stuck with Microsoft, and that sucks. Yeah, he was arguing that don't follow the IPs, follow the devs. And I don't agree with that because I think the IPs are quite literally what we grow fond of. It's why I'm so irritated, because I love Hellblade. Now, obviously, I love Melina Juergens and Ninja Theory, and I hope, like, if they land somewhere else, maybe they'll make other great games. But it's like, I won't get this game ever again. And you keep saying follow the devs over the IP that you love. And again, the reason that I said that sounds glib is you're not grappling with the gravity of this and the size and the scope of this. This isn't a couple of people that have decided to leave and start their own studio. These are studios that have been snapped out of existence. And it's like, that doesn't just automatically result in new studios because we've never been here before. We've never been here before. Never has there been a time where one company could just, in a matter of 1 year, we're going to look back and be like, look at all the studios we lost. Those are net losses for the industry. That doesn't automatically just equalize into, well, we'll just get more studios. We'll get studios back. That just doesn't happen because the studios that have been forming and the studios have been cropping up typically have been from people leaving of their own, like, their own choice. A 5-spot from Dan says, doesn't this happen in the NFL all the time? Oilers, Browns, Colts, go Bills. I'm not sure what you mean. Sports ball. I agree that what you're talking about sucks, but again, we're talking about two completely different things. I don't think we're talking about two completely different things. I think you're trying to bring an ideological position to an unprecedented situation, and I find it to not fit. Your ideology, I don't have an issue with, of follow the developers. They'll continue to make good work. Okay, you can believe that. That's great. That seems sincere. Bringing that to bear on this situation, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. If we were talking about the co-founder of Ninja Theory leaving, that fits. That tracks. Let's follow him. Let's see where he goes. Let's see what he does. But Microsoft being in the position to just absolutely machete trim studios off like cattle, no, I don't think your ideology gets a single spin of traction. It's like, well, what the frick? How are we supposed to follow these people? They're just all gone. The studios are gone. A 5 spot from PWH Town. I love GTA, so if Rockstar closes and the devs leave to form a new studio, how would I play GTA in the future? Well, you would hope they would make, you know, Grand Larceny. I don't know. Like, you would hope they would make something else. You know? What are you saying, Zubair? Hang on. How is this different than shutting down the brake pad division of your conglomerate, or the tugboat making subsidiary, or the pet store that only sells badgers, or the Broken Sun umbrella repair shops? Is Ginger's argument that we still have quality games, the talent still exists in the universe? I think Ginger's, if I try to steel man his argument, basically what he's saying is, this sucks, but just follow the devs. They'll crop up somewhere else and still make a good game. I think that presumption, I genuinely think that's doe-eyed. That's like, that does not necessarily mean that's going to happen. They might never make another game again. They might leave the industry. They might decide they're sick of this and they're going to get out. This many people, this many studios suddenly just untethered from funding and organization. They don't just automatically like shuffle over and then suddenly a new studio is born. A lot of these people are just going to leave the industry. They're like, I'm done with this. This is a joke. I believe in people over companies first and foremost. That's great. That's great. But I don't think when you have this level of studio shutdown and layoffs, I just think it's doe-eyed to be like, well, it'll all be fine. They'll just crop up somewhere else. I mean, for goodness sakes, they laid off 1,900 people at the beginning of this year at ABK. That's like 8 studios worth of people. You think we're going to see just 8 brand new studios crop up from the 1,900 layoffs? Like, that just seems so, that seems so sitcom. Like, you know how every time at the end of the sitcom, everything works out and resolves itself in 25 minutes, you know? DJ cheated on a test and she learned a moral lesson and sits down with Danny Tanner and they talk it out and she's going to work harder and then the music plays. This isn't a sitcom. Like, it's not going to just resolve itself at the end. Like, some of these people in studios will be just gone for forever. It's just the end. I'm not going to be all good or this way or that way it should be, but I'm saying that this is the way that it is, and we've seen this happen from the start of the industry. And I continue to push back on that. No, we have not seen this since the start of the industry. No. I think that completely broad strokes what's going on. This has been happening since the industry started. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. I've been covering the industry for a decade. I've been watching the industry for far longer. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. We've never seen an acquisition of this size. Have we ever seen 4 studios shut down in a single day? Just poof. I don't think this has been happening since the beginning. Just talk with David Jaffe. He talks about how this is something that happens and continues to happen. Okay. There are car accidents every day. All right? There are car accidents every day. And if a semi-truck flies off of an overpass and lands and oil spills out and explodes and 50 cars are damaged and lives are lost, nobody would say that this happens every day. You can't take like, well, there are car accidents that happen every day. This isn't a car accident. This is a large-scale tragedy, right? So yes, studios close down all of the time. Acquisitions have happened historically in the history of the tech sector and video games. Correct. The size and the scope of this, underneath a company like Microsoft, this is unprecedented. The power that they now hold, what they're going to be able to do, is not going to be as simple as, well, studios close down all the time, they'll just reform. Because when you close down this many studios and you lay off this many people, There's nowhere for them to land. There's no funding. There's no studios. It's just boom, they're gone. Nice analogy. I'm impressed. Thank you. I'm not saying that the scale has happened. It hasn't. But I'm talking about how much to what makes a studio, what makes an IP an IP that you care about is the people who made it happen. But back to my analogy, Ginger, it would take a lot longer to clean up that mess, and there would be people that would be severely injured, greater than typical, because you couldn't get to them, right? Because of the size and the scope. Because of the size and the scope of this, it's going to have more damage to the people, the studios, and the talent. Because when it's just like one studio and we're all like, oh, that sucks, and then they all kind of like filter out into the industry, that works, right? It was kind of like during the sickie. Like if you lost your job in 2020, there wasn't this flourishing industry of jobs for you to go out and get another job. There was like nothing. It was very terrifying for people. So like, I think that's the problem here is your idea about what could come out of this. I think the probability of that goes down significantly because of the scope and the scale of what has happened. I'm not indicating that you're celebrating the closure. I've never indicated that, Ginger. I've been fair to your argument. Your argument is that follow the people. The people are the ones who are passionate. They make the good stuff. They'll continue to make good stuff. That's your steel-manned argument. I don't find it compelling because I believe the size and the scope of this makes your more positive view of this less likely. There's too many people. There's too many studios. It's too fast. It's simply too fast. Like, what you're saying will happen, but not to the degree that we've seen in history because it hasn't happened before in history. There's no recipe to course correct this. It's just going to be like, this will have ramifications for the next 10 years. We don't even know what the ramifications are. Hardcore Gamer with the brand new membership. Thank you so much. Taking us to 192, so close to 200 members. I'll pay up the members when we go to the second stream with Mike. Thank you for the 5-spot, William. A few of the richest and most well-known devs can make their own independent studios, but the mass majority of devs don't have the tens of millions. Right. They have to go hat in hand to venture capitalists or angel investors and say, here's our studio, here's our talent, here's what we think we can build, here's the market research that we funded on our own that says we believe that this game could make this much money and it'll cost this much to produce it. Like, they literally are going to have to start pitching angel investors and venture capitalists in the hope that they can build a studio and bring something to market. Now, I myself said that I feel like we are going to see a resurgence of indie studios and AA studios, but I believe what Microsoft is doing is going to make that more difficult because the funding will dry up. The investors will be tapped out. They'll be like, sorry, we already got approached by 8 studios and we chose 2. We're all tapped out for the year. Like, there's not like limitless funding and investing out there, especially everything I read from financial analysis of the industry is that that's not going to start happening until next year because right now investors are very risk averse of the gaming industry because it's all over the place. I mean, look at what Microsoft's doing. You're not going to see investors wanting to spend money in the gaming industry right now with what Microsoft is doing. They're all going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. We got to let the dust settle. That's crazy. That's a lot of studios. That's a lot of foreclosure. Swade has a good analogy here, too. All right, hang on. Swade says, this is like a championship level team that gets disbanded. You follow the players, but they end up on different teams. It's not the same. The team doesn't exist anymore. That's another really good analogy. Yes, like, oh, man. Like, it comes back to emergent properties that Zubair taught me about, right? Melina Juergens as Senua emerged dynamically from Ninja Theory. She was a video editor and she was the stand-in for Senua, and she captured the character so well. They said she is Senua. She's been recognized and won all these awards. That's this beautiful, emergent, dynamic thing that happened. And that's now part of the fabric of Ninja Theory. And I'm like, don't you dare destroy this. Like, don't be so dispassionate or lacking of empathy, because it's like, well, it's the people that matter. It's the people that make up these studios. It's organic. It's like a living thing. You know, it's like Dave in this department and Steve in this department and Susan over here. They've got this synergy and this understanding, and there's just flow state for what they're building, and they're all locked in and they get it. And you can't just have that destroyed and be like, well, the people will land elsewhere. You just killed an organic living thing that was bringing beauty and art into the world. Grieve that. Like, it sucks. They'll land somewhere else. I mean, I don't even know. They might not. They might say, forget it, dude. I'm good. The passion's gone. The love's gone. That was the team. That was the people I wanted to work with. Oh, they're going to do... Oh, that's Marathon Trilogy? Oh, they're getting ready to start marketing Marathon. The assumption that the team is no more can be true, but also game dev is a small, tight-knit group. You see teams form and reform other studios through the history of gaming. Right, and Ginger, this is where I continue to say, your view and belief, I'm not like, oh, how dare you think that? It doesn't get traction with me because the scope and the scale, I think, makes it just makes it less probable. Yeah, good talk. Once I understood what you were arguing, Ginger, this has been fun and enjoyable. At first, I was like, we were missing each other. That's why you thought I was straw manning. I was just completely missing what you were saying because it's it's text and spurts of responses. What are your thoughts about Sarah Bond saying the whole slate's going to Game Pass, including Call of Duty? Yeah, I think they're going to have to change Game Pass. I think they're going to have to change Game Pass. I think they're going to have to increase costs of Ultimate. I said earlier, I think they're going to take Game Pass Core and Game Pass Standard and smash them together. And if you want day and date, you have to be on Ultimate. I think Ultimate will be like $20. I think in order for what she said to come true, they have to reevaluate Game Pass. AOZ says it's a reductionist argument. It's saying that there will always be good games with good people. It's mutually exclusive to the issue with the company going under and a particular IP being lost. AOZ, you and I are on the same page. Yes, that I feel that. That's why I don't believe he's stepping away, but I don't believe Ginger is glib. It came across as very sort of glib and just sort of like, as you say, sort of reductionist. It's like, okay, that might be true, but this just feels absolutely unprecedented. I feel like the likelihood of good coming from it diminishes. Like, they're not even done, okay? So if we go the rest of this year and no studios close, then the probability of what Ginger has said goes up. I believe it goes up because it's only 4 studios. If we see more studios close throughout the rest of this year, the probability goes down every time. It's just too many people. It's too much talent. Yo, good to see you, Lazaro. I appreciate that. I agree with his position from an economic point of view. What the market demands will eventually be supplied, but that's a macro process. The parts and the players don't survive. Yeah. There are people that don't make it out on the other end of the wine press, They just don't. $40 would mean no subscribers. Game Pass does have a competitor. Oh, yeah. So, James, that's an excellent point. I don't think they care if they raise the price and you leave, because then if you want their games, you have to buy them, and they'll make more money on you in that situation. Alana speaks to this very issue, says Eugene in her video yesterday. There's no place for them to land. There's no funding for them to rebuild. That's my point. That's my point, is that if this keeps happening throughout this year, it just reaches a scope and a size where it's like there's nowhere for these people to go. There's just too much. It's like when you have like the Great Depression. It's like there's just not enough jobs for people. That's why you had bread lines and you had guys showing up to line up hoping to get a day's worth of work. They didn't have a job. They were hoping to like just work at the docks. I tapped the link on a happy accident. Good to see you, Snow. Yo, Mash gifts and takes us to 193. Always good to see you, Snow. Hope you're well. It's like an old philosophical discussion about an old broom. It's had its handle changed, its head changed, and the bristles changed. Is it still an old broom? I believe that original, it's somebody's ship. Oh. The ship of Theseus is a paradox regarding identity over time. One version positing a scenario in which all the parts of a ship are replaced gradually and one at a time poses the question, is the vessel that exists after the replacement the same ship as the vessel that existed before the replacement? Yeah, Theseus's ship. Or what's the philosophical position that you never step into the same river twice? That's a similar idea to what we're talking about. Yo, Mash, thank you so much. Gift another member taking us to 194. Like, when you step into the river and, hey, paying it forward. Amskin got a gifted member today, and he's paying it forward and gifting a member taking us to 195 out of 200. The idea that when you step into the water and then step out and then step back in, everything's changed in that moment. It's not the same river. It's the same idea, right? Like as the ship of Theseus. I forget who did I forget who said never same river twice. I was listening to philosophical lectures. No man ever steps in the same river twice. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus. Yeah, Heraclitus said it. Thank you, Zubair. It's attributed to Heraclitus. Yeah, similar idea. You know that was from Greek philosophy. Thought it was Chinese. It's attributed to Heraclitus. It could, we could have that wrong, but you've been all right dealing with sinus headaches, allergies. Do you have a neti pot? Snow, that is a life changer for people who consistently get sinus headaches from allergies. My wife used to get them all the time. Doesn't get them anymore. I'm just going to let Lono Google it going forward. Yo, Mash gifts another member and takes us to 196. This man's going to slow walk us all the way to 200. I love it. I love it. One of the things I like to say when it comes to MMORPGs is that their core design is the ship of Theseus because they're sold on the promise of change. Yeah, it's also kind of like Sisyphus, right, Ginger? They roll the height ball up the hill, and then it always rolls back down. Like reality always settles in. A what? Okay, it's called a neti pot. It's spelled N-E-T-I, and it's weird. You gotta, you're not supposed to use tap water either. You have to get, we get the filtered water from the store, whatever it's, I forget what it's called. Mash gifts another one, takes us to 197, but Amskin gifts 5 and says, let's just get this over with. And he Agents of Chaoses it up and passes 200 like it's nothing. Thank you so much. Yeah, you do not want to use tap water in your neti pots. You don't. You get distilled. Thank you. You get distilled water. And another gifted member from MASH takes us to 203. Yeah, you use distilled water. Yeah, you can get an amoeba in your brain and die if you don't use distilled water. So we get distilled water. I heat it up in the microwave for like 30 seconds. There's like a little salt solution that you dump into it and you shake it up and stir it. And you literally put this, it looks like a gravy boat, right? It's got water in it. It's got a spout, and you put it up to your nose and you tilt to the side and it flushes through. It's a little weird. Yeah, there's motorized ones now. It's a little weird, but I'm telling you, if you consistently get sinus headaches, from allergies, you need to look into a neti pot and only use distilled water, and it will absolutely change your life. I'm dead serious. You will be shocked at how much better you feel. You're one behind. Oh, I'm sorry. 204. Okay. Thank you, JC, for keeping me on point there. It's hard to keep track when you guys do it like that. It's like single, 5, single. I can mess it up sometimes. Thank you. Okay, I got to get on. Oh, my. I haven't even scheduled the stream yet. I got to get on the call with Mike. Hang on. This is going to be a good talk because we have completely avoided. Hang on. I got to plug in my camera for Mike. We've completely avoided the topic of should Phil go? That's what I'm going to talk about with Mike. So stick around for is it time for Phil Spencer to go? Yeah, we're not Neti Pot sponsored. And then record videos of yourself doing it so we can all see, right? That's the deal. You got to let us see. I'm just kidding. Okay, let me unmute this. Let me make sure Discord's not muted. And then let me make sure I mute. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about my boy Herodotus. I've been really enjoying Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's really good. Yo. It's Mike. No, that's me. This is not cropped properly. Oh, it's because it's still trying to call creature. I'll have to wait to crop. Let me change.
Creature, Jesus, always ruining stuff, even when he's not even part of it.
Where I always have a hard time finding our frame. There it is.
Go on, chat. Yeah, I've watched about 4 episodes, Sven.
4 episodes of what?
X-Men 97.
Oh, if I was gonna guess, I wasn't even looking at chat. I was like, I bet you he's asking about X-Men 97. To spot the 300 goal, Lono uses the Neti Pot live. I'll do it. That's gross, but I'll do it. You guys, that's nasty. You would need another 96 members. It's gross.
That's always a good feeling when you shoot it up your nose and it comes out the other side. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
You could feel it going through your canals.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there are times where you can literally feel it like cleansing stuff out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's gross, but you are so thankful for it. You're like, I feel so much better. A 5 spot from Alex. Bummed Evil Within 3 now is gone because of Patango. Potentially Microsoft just going to sit on the IP. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Face watering. Yeah, it's face watering.
Stop being weird. I mean, if that's what Dan wants to see, like if that's kind of his thing. Okay.
Chat, are you ready to hate me today? Are you ready to hate me today?
Is it Jimmy Shaker Day? Car's going to backfire. You're going to have to ask yourself, Is today Jimmy Shaker Day? I wish he did more movies like that. I like Gary Sinise. Like, he's in the Green Mile for maybe 7 minutes, and it's so good.
I don't know if they go 30 a month yet. I don't know if they go 30 a month.
Add this to your Netty. It's a game changer. It's a solution? Oh. We put like a little, it's like a salt saline little spoon dump. I don't even know what that is. Can you DM that to me, Eugene? I won't be able to scroll back up and find that later. Guys, if you haven't smashed the like button yet, smash it on this video. We could easily hit 600 likes before we go, and that would just be insane. And then I need you to do it again when we go to this new stream. I got a new stream. Mike and I are going to be talking. The time for Phil Spencer to go.
Are we having a show next week?
Oh, no, I'll be out of town.
Oh, perfect, because I can't be on next week.
That worked out.
My nephew's birthday, and we're taking him to Legoland.
Oh, that's going to be... My kids keep asking about that. Let's go to Legoland one day.
You got to go soon because it's a young park. It's not meant for, like, I would say 10 is the young, like the 10 is the oldest that you could bring someone. They would be bored out of their mind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So your daughter might be bored.
Okay.
But your son will love it.
Okay, chat. Give me a quick second to run upstairs, stretch my legs. Use the restroom. What is the back end doing here? It's like pulling an error.
Oh, the headset I'm using is HyperX. HyperX.
Okay, it fixed. Yeah, I will come back, guys. I'll spam a link. I'll gift the members that I owe you in the next stream. And thank you guys so much. I'll be right back. You can talk to Mike while I'm gone. Yeah, amazing day. Don't forget the member stream tonight. All right? See you in a second.
Yeah, Legoland's cool. They had a place over here that was called Cypress Gardens in Orlando. Well, it's between Orlando and Tampa. It's about an hour away. And years ago, it got shut down. And then Lego came in and redid it. Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't want to give you answers for what I'm going to say on the show. So I appreciate that, B. Yeah, Kingard was on the show last night. He was supposed to be taking the place of Sarge, but then Sarge got off work at the last second. I was like, I can do the show. So I was like, all right, let's do 3. I don't even know anything about it, Dubtown. Someone posted in my Discord. I don't have a handheld or anything like that besides the Switch, so I didn't really look into, because I'm not going to pick one up. I don't know the specs. So it sounds like people are disappointed, I guess. What's going on, honey? Oh, well, yeah, if you watched my podcast last night, Dave, then you would know what I think. Well, Anthony, you can. I do a morning show Monday through Thursday. Fridays, I only do this with Lono. So if I don't do a podcast with him, then I'm free to go. But this Monday coming up, I won't have a morning show because my birthday's on my birthday, my dad's birthday, and Mother's Day is Sunday and Monday. So my birthday and my mom and Mother's Day is Sunday, and then my dad's birthday is on Monday. So I'm taking off. They're coming up right now. They'll be here in just a couple of hours, and then I'm hanging out with them all weekend until Monday. So no show for me on Monday. You have the same name as my dad. Are you him? I mean, I guess I could be. How old are you? Give or take? Were you in Gainesville? 46, creature. You look like a young Eminem. I did look like Eminem when I was younger. I got many free things. That's right. Stay off my lawn, old dad gamer. Pictures or didn't happen. Well, you know, it's funny. You don't want pictures because that's evidence for stuff, and that can get you in trouble. Ask the youth today between their Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I know what I did in my life. There is a picture somewhere though that I was in Vegas one time and I got a picture because they thought I was Eminem. John Stamos and Rebecca Romaine Stamos. There's a picture somewhere out there that Pavarazzi took and posted somewhere of me, John Stamos, and Rebecca Romaine Stamos at the Hard Rock Hotel because they thought I was Eminem. So someone can find that somewhere. It was back in 2001. Okay.
Okay, chat, give me a second here. I want to change the thumb of the stream that we're in now. Every single one of you that have watched or plan on watching or leave a comment or like that upload today, thank you so much. That thing, it looks like it's on its way to being one of my most watched videos. Like, that's crazy. Appreciate that support. Especially right before we go on a trip, man. I'm telling you, every time we hit a momentum, I take a frickin' vacation. Oh, man. We gave you a second, tighten up. Oh, I got snagged on my way back down. My wife got a haircut, and then my son needed help with his hair. Like, what's going on, everybody? I'm trying to get back downstairs. Okay. Okay, redirect is set up. All right, one last call for likes on this video. There's 668 people here. If you haven't smashed like, do that before we get out of here. And then I need you to go crazy when we get to the new stream. I'll also be gifting members when we get over there, all right, that I owe you. All right, there's the link in chat. Let me send the tweet. No, that's the wrong thumbnail. What do we say? Xbox news. Phil Spencer needs to go. Yeah, we're doing really great this month. Time to take a trip. All right, there you go. There you go. Click that link. We're going live. Here we go. Here we go. Thanks so much for checking out this video in a weekly segment where I sit down with my good friend 30 and Still Gaming. And this week, we're asking the question and we're giving our thoughts on, is it time for Phil Spencer to go? Xbox fans are not happy. It's not been a good week for Xbox in many people's minds with studio closures and comments from Sarah Bond that don't seem to be helping, and very, very contentious times. So we'll be weighing in on that. If you're watching this later, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button. I will be gone for 1 week. This is like one of the last things we're going to do on the channel before I take a week break, but streams will resume on the 20th. So I'll see you then. 30, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, as always.
I'm going to end the previous stream where I talked about Xbox has been killed by Microsoft. Check out that upload. It's absolutely screaming on the channel right now. It'll probably end up being one of my most watched videos where I break down